What's going on?
Somebody defaced the billboards we just put out.
Oh, that's funny. Wait. From the photo shoot with you and me.
No, 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 no!
So back in December, I made a video about bad boomer humor. How they got super upset at the OK Boomer meme, how talk show hosts somehow act surprised if young celebrities don't know who classic musical acts are, but also if they say one of those older musical acts is one of their favorites.
And that meant something to you?
That did.
Did you follow the Spice Girls? You're too young for that.
You know who Madonna is?
I do know who Madonna is.
You know, can you name a Van Halen?
Who?
Essentially creating a situation where there's no way they can possibly win. And kind of ended it off with the fact that every generation is going to have that thing. We all think we're the best. The older we get, we're just barreling towards that back in my day ideology that we all love to laugh at so much now. Which is true. I think the 90s are the shit. And I loved being an edgy loser with bad clothing in the new millennium while wearing really bright yellow pants and this horrible, horrible plaid zip-up hoodie. Look at this edgy middle school loser chilling in a garden. Look at her! But it's been pretty normal to see a lot of hostility towards millennials. We've been blamed for shutting down chain restaurants, for killing the housing markets, even though 2008 would love to have a conversation with you about that. And I still think it's absolutely hilarious that the second the millennials and the zoomers started hitting back with the OK Boomer meme, they all seemed to have this collective meltdown. Either because they felt they shouldn't have been included in that group, or that we should be respecting them over the most basic of jokes. Some people started advocating that OK Boomer should be seen as ageist discrimination. Some tried to compare it to the N-word. So terrible and so hilarious. But come to find out, it's not just the boomers and Gen X that hate millennials. It's the zoomers too!
All millennials know is go to coffee store, read a book, BuzzFeed, wear jeans with sneakers, take awkward coffee selfie, and be cringe as
Man, I thought K-pop stans teaming up to flood hashtags was the craziest crossover we'd see this year. But no, it really must be Gen Z teaming up with the other generations just to shit on millennials. They're coming at us for doggo. They're coming at us for bleh. They came at us for BuzzFeed pop culture quizzes, which I thought that we all unanimously decided as a group were horrible, but I guess that still represents us. And finally, they're coming at us for Harry Potter.
Tired of boomers, bunching Gen Z and millennials together, because I personally don't want to be associated with people who still think that Harry Potter movies are a personality trait.
Okay, I don't think that Harry Potter movies make up a part of my personality. It's obviously the books. Yeah, no, I definitely don't do that, and I definitely don't feel attacked. Now, before we get into the crux of this, I feel the need to just clarify a couple things. One, it ain't that serious. A lot of people got really upset at my last video because they were upset at being called boomers when they're not even in that age demographic, or people pointing out that boomers legitimately ruined everything, so it shouldn't be something we joke about. Like, this isn't supposed to be a sociologically driven history lesson. We're talking about memes and internet trash talk. And two, these arbitrary generational titles span from like 10 to 20 years at times. I doubt someone born in 1995 has that much in common with somebody born in 1981. Somebody born in 1981 wouldn't have even lived in a world with regular home internet until they were pushing 20. I think the only one that really seems to have a lot of meaning behind the name is like the baby boomers, because they were the babies that boomed out of the Second World War. But even that range goes almost 20 years. Like, a baby boomer could have a boomer baby. Nowadays, things change and advance so quickly that it's hard to even lump 5-year age differences together with some kind of trend. So yeah, it ain't that deep. We're just having a little bit of fun. We're all gonna be okay, because realistically, none of us are gonna be okay. I also find it interesting that back in January, there was this article written that actually asked the question whether or not Gen Z and millennials would grow to hate each other in the wake of the OK Boomer, even with a lot of millennials being like, good job, youth of tomorrow, caring about things. And my goodness, it appears so. Every generation can agree, millennials were a mistake. Millennials are monsters, and I stand by that. So I saw the Harry Potter TikTok, and then I read through the comment thread spreading on Twitter, and my God, some of this is so funny. Either because of the comments or just the reaction from people, again, reacting like the exact same boomers they were making fun of a few months ago just because a handful of people that are 10 years younger than them were calling out their love of Harry Potter. Look, we get it. My Chemical Romance were right. Teenagers are scary, but they won't beat you up if you just let them have a little bit of fun on the internet before the real world kicks them in the ass. But yeah, it kept on going. But I honestly think that it is the comment section on these videos that really elevate it to the next level. I hate adulting, just give me a slice of pizza and wine. Like, sis Rebecca, you are 32 and an alcoholic, please sit down. Look, I'm not gonna say I disagree with them, because I went to school with a lot of people who act exactly like this. Not me though. I'm awesome and think wine is gross. They be 34 talking about I'm a Hufflepuff. Like, grow up and do a line of coke already. Yeah, imagine talking about being a Hufflepuff when you could be a Gryffindor, you fucking loser. Which leads perfectly into the next comment, because I know a lot of you Hufflepuff are already in the comment section raring to go. Millennials will attack you if you disrespect the Harry Potter house. Like, they're not wrong. I would also like to say that while looking up this video, I started getting targeted ads on Twitter for a 90s trivia. And yes, I do feel attacked and targeted. People that still say adulting. Oh my God, people do and did say that so much. Catherine trying to sell her weight loss supplements talking about adulting when all she needs to do is feed her kid. Look, I'm sure I've said adulting at some point, probably in relation to taxes or something. Let's look this up. Oh my God. Oh, I did. It was in 2016. Give me a little bit of leeway, but there's a lot of things I'd like to put money towards, but I need to try and pay off my car as soon as possible. Adulting is terrible. Oh my God, I was insufferable. Look, I did pay off that car, and then I got a better car and paid it off too. So look at me adulting. They're worried about their Harry Potter house, but they live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Y'all worried about the wrong house. It hurts because it's true. Look, I don't live in a 1-bedroom apartment, but if I lived alone, I would. We're all moving towards a world where we'll barely be able to like afford the cupboard under the stairs. But damn, that was good. And they always say they have a combined house like Gryffindor or some, like they missed the whole point. Okay, yeah, frick the Slither doors and whatever the hell else you want to try to figure out. You get one house. That's how it works. You're allowed to have personality traits that might align with other houses. It's okay if things don't perfectly align with the story that was written by someone who insists on revealing the bathroom habits of wizards after the series is long since completed.
Professor Snape was a single mother.
Now, obviously, this hate is bringing out all the millennials who are feeling a little bit betrayed right now, but their reactions are almost just as funny as the actual hatred that we're experiencing from the Zoomers. And fellow millennials, keep in mind the boomer energy you might be bringing to this. I've seen comments from some of the older millennials, or maybe even some of the not that old millennials, being like, back in my day, we had the privilege of growing up with all that knowledge out there, but we still had to go outside and play to get our enjoyment. We don't think sitting and watching someone play video games on the internet counts as a hobby. Marlene! Go get me a beer. I might miss the only 2 minutes of gameplay in this here football match. Because remember, watching people play video games on the internet is stupid and wrong, but watching grown men play sports while you sit on the couch and drinking is a legitimate hobby. Like, chill with that shit, Becky and Alan. You neglect your children for Facebook. You're not helping the situation. Also, I see a lot of dudes that treat taking care of their children like it's babysitting. Like, they're all like, yeah, gotta babysit the kid today because, you know, the wife's out at the office. That is your child. Taking care of it is doing your job as a parent. I also stumbled upon this one that ends with a nice cringy string of emojis. Gen Z doesn't know what it's like to play outside, to roam the neighborhood untracked via smartphone. Us millennials were the last to have a real childhood. We were free and proud of our streets, like in the movies. Goonies never die. Also, hashtag Ravenclaw. Fuck you, Gen Z. Crying laughing emoji and a glass of whiskey. I really hope that this was satirical. I don't think it was, though. Do people think that, like, kids don't play outside anymore? Because I see kids outside all the damn time. Older millennials like myself had the privilege of growing up where we didn't reach for our phone every minute. We played outside, got dirty, got in trouble, built character, really got to know people. Gen Z thinks watching others play video games on YouTube is a hobby. We deserve all of this. But then they even started going at scene kids. Like, I'm literally so glad I'm not a millennial. I'd way rather be associated with TikTok dancing than whatever the hell this is. Look, I never went full scene. I had the colorful pants, but let's not disrespect the legacy of Riot-era Hayley Williams by insulting the scene kids by, oh my god, this response. Scene kids walked so your Billie Eilish could run. Show some respect. It's so good. There's also some millennials trying to take this really seriously by pointing out that Gen Z is in for a rude awakening when the state of the world gets even worse than it is now and they need to start living their independent lives. I'm pretty sure they're aware of that. They're just having a little bit of fun in preparation for the dystopian future that's awaiting them. Like, it was all fun and games when you can hop in on the OK Boomer memes, but somebody makes fun of your Harry Potter house and suddenly it's the end of the world. But also, millennials, never let these insults take your spark away. It doesn't matter if you still love Harry Potter or Twilight as an adult. Life is too short not to love the things you love and to love them fiercely, as long as they're legal. And that goes to anything I trash on in my videos. Like, if you like something that I didn't like and it brings you happiness, that's amazing. That means it brought joy to you, so the opinion of some idiot on the internet shouldn't matter. I am that idiot, unless you like the movie Cats. Those are the rules. But I will take this time to remind you that in this context, boomer is like a state of mind and an attitude. I didn't make the rules, I just follow them, and a lot of you guys are just, you're headed to Boomer Town. Like, you're on the midnight train to Boomer Town. Overall, these threads have mostly felt like that girl fight scene in Mean Girls while Regina George is just standing above watching the chaos happen. I don't know who Regina, I'm Regina in this situation. I didn't start it, but I'm laughing. I'm definitely one of the people that's being insulted, but I'm having a great time. We got older Gen Z that are in their 20s now calling out younger Gen Z, which obviously isn't helping. We got millennials pointing out that Zoomers are in for a rude awakening. We got boomers and Xers saying that the Zoomers might have it right and realize that complaining won't fix anything like those damn millennials always do. We got Gen Xers thinking they're just completely uninvolved with any of this, but they are. Just depends which side they fall on. No one raised Gen X. We raised ourselves and were ignored. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. We've all been screwed over. And you might think that I'm a salty millennial, but it really isn't that deep. Like I said in my other video, every generation has its strengths and we all suck. So I guess what I'm saying is it's okay to poke fun at other generations because everyone does it. But if you're on the receiving end of it, just don't have a fit because you can't take a couple jokes. All teenagers are idiots. We just didn't have the ability to document it as well as we do at this exact moment in time. So people saying that like teenagers are just way more stupid now than they were before is just blinding themselves to the stupidity that has happened throughout generations of teenagers. And for the people that are trying to be all high and mighty in their position of maturity, every generation before yours is just a representation of the world they live in and how they were raised. Everyone shapes the world that they're in, and every new generation just has to grow up in the rules of that world until they grow up and make their own, which then in turn just shapes that next generation. Give it 10 years and Gen Alpha or the quarantines, whatever we're gonna call them, are gonna be shitting on Gen Z just as much. I think this just might have been a little bit of a shock to a lot of millennials because we're so used to getting it from in front of us, from ahead, from the older generations, that when that knife came from behind, we were just a little bit shocked. So I get their discomfort, but it's also hilarious. I think what really sums up that attitude is this tweet I saw. What the hell? I was looking forward to being old enough to complain about the next generation and suddenly it has skipped us and we're getting it from both sides. I feel cheated. And that's just the way she goes. We just waited too long to start punching up that, Gen Z caught up with us. So that's gonna do it for today's video. I was gonna do the 365 Days movie, which I will still do, but I just felt like I need a little bit of a break from that, and I saw this and it made me laugh for a very long time, so I figured it would be a fun little video to make and kind of like a little bit of throwback to a video that I did back in December. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let me know if you guys have been watching anything good lately. Catch you all later. Thank you as always to my Patreon supporters. Subscribe if you're new, like the video if you're into that kind of thing, and we'll catch you all later.